Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the West Ham Network. West Ham officially confirmed the signing of France international Axel Disasi. The deal eventually went through. We did submit the team sheet that has to be submitted because the deal took longer to go through than first anticipated, and he joins from Chelsea until the end of the current season. I'm going to read you out some information about what the West Ham have said, what he said, and what Nuno said, and we can have a quick discussion in the chat about what your thoughts are on it. But the 27-year-old who's got 5 caps for the French international side was part of the squad that finished runners-up at the 2022 FIFA World Cup, appearing as a substitute in the final against Argentina. He was born in Paris. He made his professional debut for Paris FC, won League 2 with Rennes, spent 3 years playing regularly in Ligue 1 and European competitions with Monaco, and joined Chelsea in the summer of 2023. He made over 300 senior appearances and extensive experience at the highest level, and as a dominant central defender, plays at the front foot and will add presence in both penalty areas. He's looking forward to showing his qualities in a West Ham United shirt. I don't deny that whatsoever. I don't deny that he is a no-nonsense defender. We definitely know that, and that is definitely what we've been crying out for. And is it an upgrade on some of the players that we've got? Possibly it is, but he's not played competitive football, which we'll repeat for you, since April of last year. What he went on and said about joining West Ham was he's very happy to be here, to have this opportunity, just ready to fight and to play games. Everyone knows my situation in the last few months, so I want to get back on the field, feel the sensation of games, and help the team. Club has given me the opportunity to show the quality on the pitch. I spoke with all the people here, and I feel that they really wanted me, so that's why I'm here today. It's an exciting challenge. We know the club's not the place it should be, but I'm here to help the team and bring it what I can to achieve our goal. Everyone at West Ham would like to welcome Axel and his family to the London Stadium and wish him every success in the claret and blue. 7 things that you need to know about Axel. He was born in Paris, in the northern suburb of Gonesse, in 1998. He's Congolese and Angolanian ancestry, and as a boy he played for the local club Villers-le-Bel, joining at the age of 8 and spending 7 seasons there. He spent a season at USM Senlay in the town situated 25 miles north of Paris between the ages of 15 and 16. He debuted at the age of 17. So at the age of 16, he joined Paris FC in the third tier Championnat National in the summer of 2014. His senior debut came for Paris FCB in the fourth tier National 2 in the 1-0 win over Oiselle in the August of 2015 of that year. Disasi made his first team debut at the 𝗕𝗥𝗀𝗀𝗏 third round win over the same opponents in November of 2015. Paris FC had won promotion to League 2 in the 2014-15 season, and he made his senior league debut in a 1-0 home defeat to Lens in December of 2015, aged exactly 17 years and 9 months. Then he then scored in his third appearance in 2016 in a 3-1 defeat of Tours. He moved to Rennes at the age of 18 following the relegation of Paris FC. Disasi remained in League 2 by joining Rennes, who had themselves been relegated from Ligue 1. The 18-year-old spent most of the season playing in National 2 for Rennes too, but did appear once in League 2. And after appearing 20 times over the next 2 seasons, helping Rennes win promotion to League 1, Disasi established himself in the first team in 2019-20, appearing 32 times at Rennes, finished 6th and reached the 𝗕𝗥𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗏 semi-finals. He joined Monaco in 2020, and this is where it gets interesting. 22 years old, he moved to Monaco. He appeared 29 times, scored 3 goals, captained the team as Monaco finished 3rd in Ligue 1 and qualified for the Champions League. Also at Monaco reached the Coupe de France final, where they were edged out by PSG the following season. He played 45 games in all competitions, as Monaco again finished 3rd and reached the Europa League round of 16 and the Coupe de France semi-finals, again qualifying for the UEFA Champions League. He was ever present in the 22-23 season, which was his final season at Monaco, saw him feature in over 49 matches for the club, played across 4 competitions, scoring 6 goals and registering 4 assists. The defender netted against 𝗕𝗥𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗏 and Bayer Leverkusen as Monaco reached the knockout playoff round for the Europa League. He debuted for France at the World Cup, made a senior league debut for France at the FIFA World Cup Group D tie with Tunisia and Qatar, coming the first France men's international to earn his first cap during a World Cup since Nantes defender Gabriel de Michel. He then appeared as a substitute in a round of 16 win over Poland in the game against Argentina when France lost on penalties. He reached the cup final with Chelsea. He joined them in August of 2023, scored a Premier League debut for the Blues in a 1-1 draw with Liverpool and all. He played 44 times as Chelsea reached the League Cup final and the FA Cup semi-finals. He scored in the Cup semi-final league win over Middlesbrough that confirmed the Blues' place in the final, where they were beaten by Liverpool after extra time. Disasi is a hammer. What's your thoughts? Adam says it's been a poor transfer window, and it is. And if you are watching, tomorrow morning I've done a piece on it. I'll let you know where my real thoughts are on the deal, or on the window as a whole. If you take into consideration players going out and players coming in, money spent, net value, all that sort of stuff. I'll go into a little bit of detail in it as well. So join us tomorrow morning for that. Yeah, you'll see this where I'm really thinking about it. When it comes to Disasi, I said this before the QPR game. I put a stake in the ground that I'll start afresh, right? So I'm not saying I'm doing that now, because after the Chelsea game, I think Nuno's decision to bring 𝗕𝗏𝗚 on, it's not necessarily even just the fact it's 𝗕𝗏𝗚, it's the decision to bring a defender on for an attacker when we were losing momentum, and we lost momentum, and we were just continuing to invite momentum coming our way on the opposition way. But I'm trying my best to stay positive as I can, so I'm going to support Disasi. I'm absolutely going to support Disasi when he's here. But we'll have to see. But yeah, I think essentially it has been a poor transfer window. 100% agree with you on that. Why is it taking so long to get a defender? Because we're West Ham, mate. And that is what we do. And again, if you tune in tomorrow morning, you'll see me go into a little bit more depth on exactly who, what, why, where, when of this window. But I don't understand. I'm as confused as what you are as to why we've taken so long to bring a defender in to the club, and it's maybe possibly been pushed through because of the situation with Todibo being injured, being sent off. I don't know. It just mind boggles me, to be honest with you, and it should mind boggle you as well. Is there any chance he starts on Saturday? I think Nuno will pick 𝗕𝗏𝗚𝗡. I don't think he'll start. He's not played a competitive game since April, so I don't think he will start. By no means, but I think he's got a few games to bed himself in. I think he'll be keeping fit. There's a difference between keeping fit and match fit, and he's not been playing matches, so yeah, I don't see him playing. And depending on how West Ham are doing, and if we are, I'm not saying we will be, but if we somehow get through this game and we're remotely comfortable, you might see him come on. But I don't think he'll start. No, don't think he'll be ready for that. Hope 𝗕𝗏𝗚𝗡 doesn't start again. I think he will be. We should have bought Cresswell. Yeah, but there lies the next problem. If we had paid the money that Toulouse wanted for a player like Charlie Cresswell, would we have been going down the financial model of Crystal Palace, throwing money at players just to save face? Because that's what that looks like. Bringing in Larsson for the money they've paid. I know they didn't get Dwight McNeil over the line, but that would have been 100 million quid. Johnson, McNeil, and Larsson. And I think if West Ham had spent that money, they would have been sacrilege in their club, definitely. Good to see you, my friend. We've been needing a centre back for ages, yet we waited until deadline day to get one in on loan. I think what's clear here is the player was not 100% sure about joining the club, so they left it to the last minute. That's why we were taken that far. And I don't believe, and I think West Ham were willing to lose Disasi to allow a deal sheet to be submitted. West Ham were clearly willing to lose Disasi and never had a backup plan. They never had a backup plan. That's as clear as you're going to see the picture there. But yeah, I mean, Cresswell would have been a player I would have taken. And we absolutely, I think there was, I know Russ has been putting up the millions of players we've been linked to since the window started. Here it is here. I mean, clearly there's going to be players on that list that aren't true. And us at the West Ham Network, we do consistently highlight to you that we don't believe probably 7/8 of this list. But it's just to show you how crazy and wild the transfer market is. This is just January. This is just the players in January that West Ham have been linked to. So, yeah. And I'm looking at the list and I see some players that I would have taken. Absolutely. I'm going to go to church every day this weekend and praying for 5 hours it doesn't happen. What? I'm praying for 5 hours that it doesn't happen. Probably will. Is he good? Do you know what? In his Monaco days, yeah, absolutely. And there's a reason why Chelsea spent the money they spent. But equally though, how many players have gone through the Chelsea setup, never panned out, gone elsewhere, and have panned out? I could name a couple, but I'm going to name one, and it's not. It's quite well. Do you know what? It's not far-fetched. If I'm being honest with you, it's not. I'm not. It's different positions, but Mo Salah. If you watch Mo Salah at Chelsea, he's absolutely nothing. Nothing. And I think at the time West Ham signed someone like 𝗕𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗏, thinking we were probably going to unearth a diamond in the rough in like a Salah-ish type player, but it didn't happen. So don't ever... listen, there's a nickname going around with Disasi, especially from Aston Villa. Some people are calling him Disaster, right? I think it's harsh. Might be true and hopefully it's not. But all I can go by is the history of West Ham signings, and we signed someone like Craig Dawson, and I was not enamoured by it. Lingard wasn't enamoured by it. Look how they worked out. Thomas Souček, when we signed Thomas Souček, I remember signing him. Hardly anyone was massively excited about it because we signed him on loan initially and we didn't know who he was, and he came from the Czech Republic, and who? And look how that's turned out. So I'm not going to be quick to jump the gun here and go, okay, I'll support 𝗕𝗚𝗚𝗡𝗦 on a West Ham shirt. I'll support him, see what he does. I just hope he is what we're looking for. I just hope. Do I think we can survive this season? Oh my God, you're asking me. If you'd have asked me 4 games ago, I absolutely said no. If you'd asked me 2 games ago, I'd have said yes. If you'd asked me last game, I can't cope, is the answer. So I don't know. Do you think we can survive? Surviving the Premier League fixtures. He wouldn't come to West Ham. 30 million to lose. Wanted. Absolutely. Who's seen under 21s tonight? The Venezuela looks okay. Scored in debut. 25-yarder. Lammadrid, he did. 𝗕𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗏 scored in both nets for home and the away team. Obviously, the rumour is that he could be heading out the door in the summer. Not signing a new contract. The issue you've got here is the young players hold the key to their success, their future, and they're going to go where the money comes in, and they can, as Russ said in an earlier video, we've had Lee Hodges on, for an example, when he was coming through the ranks when Frank Lampard was getting into the team, and apparently on paper, according to Tony Carr, Lee Hodges was the better player in youth, but he had to go make a career for himself, and these young players are doing that. That's why West Ham have lost another player today to Utrecht, and we've lost the other player going to Spurs, and it's never ending cycle, to be honest. And Adiele is like a player that we all highly rated here at West Ham Network as well. But yeah, I seen the goal from Lammadrid. Very good goal. Disasi on the West Ham website, give it a like. We need a centre back, absolutely. Our squad depth is shocking. Lose Saturday and we're down. Oh my God, I couldn't fathom what would happen if we lost against Burnley. It would be an absolute disaster. It would be an absolute disaster. We cannot, under any circumstances, afford them. We needed a performance. We need a performance, and we need a result to match that performance, 100%. And if we don't win and we lose, we clearly deserve to go down. We clearly do. So much pressure on that game. Doing my best, bud. We've got some of the games this season. I've done my head in. I'll still look at free agents. I think we will look at the free agents 100%. Lingard, Sterling, etc. I feel like we need one more. I do feel like we need a couple of more players, but I see that someone had put out on X recently, would you take Lingard and Zuma? And I think that just highlights how much we've fallen as a club. 2026, and we're talking about, as fans, just to get a signing through the door, bringing back a player that we were desperately trying to get rid of in terms of 𝗕𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗓, and bringing back a player that's possibly ship has sailed in Jesse Lingard. I don't know. In terms of Lingard, I would offer him something like a pay-as-you-play deal. It's an incentive. I know he's not been playing at the highest level, but it's an incentive, and sometimes these players need that incentive. Give something back to the club as well from what we gave to them. Letting go of players like 𝗕𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏, Fornals, Emerson was terrible business from us. 100 million gazillion%. Some of the biggest mistakes we've made in our modern era was getting rid of players like that. Players who came into this club, who knew the club. God, who was it we had? We had, I can't remember who it was. Someone that worked at the club came on and done a show with us once and was talking about the impact on what players like Pablo Fornals has. And Pablo Fornals came to this club from Spain, right? Not knowing really much about West Ham, but adapted to the culture, adapted to the club, adapted to the history, and fully understood it. And he became that player that introduced players from all over the world that came to the club that didn't know the club into the West Ham culture, into the West Ham way. And there's like famous videos and pictures of him cycling around Victoria Park with Antonio on a bike, totally embracing London and letting go of players like that. Honestly, don't know what the plan and vision was in doing that. He has to be better than 𝗕𝗏𝗀𝗡𝗦. That said, my mum is better than 𝗕𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗏, and she's 19 in a wheelchair. Jesus, mate. Jesus. Do you think Disasi goes straight in for Burnley game, or will Nuno go 𝗕𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗏 as Axel hasn't had game time? I think that's what he'll do. I think it will be 𝗕𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗏𝗏, and it won't be Disasi starting. But who are we? Because we would never have thought he would have brought 𝗕𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗏𝗏 on with 30 minutes to go against Chelsea and take off Pablo, who was running his backside off. And then look how the rest of that happened. Instead, we get temp players who don't want to be here on loan. That's the problem. We're in that situation. We're sitting in relegation zone. Who and how are we going to attract players? That then becomes one of the biggest issues, doesn't it? Sonny says we love players who put a shift in, and then players done that for us. Hit the nail on the head. How about Victor Lindelof? I don't know, mate. I don't know who else West Ham are going to go for, but I think we will enter the free market 100%. It'd just be interesting to see what we can do. But anyway, I've given you the news, the official news. I know we've probably broken it to you a few times tonight. But West Ham have confirmed the loan signing of France international Axel Disasi. You know, don't get called into the France squad if they don't think you're capable of doing it. So it's about signing a player, trying to see if he can find his worth again, trying to see if he's got a point to prove. And I said it all along, they're the sort of players that you need. You need to get players in who have got points to prove, and he absolutely does. Now, whether or not he said he wanted to be here or not, we'll never know that. I don't know if he did. Maybe he was holding off. But what we do have is that triangle. Areola, French. Todibo, when he comes back, French. Disasi, French. I wonder if that will help. Anyway, short start sheet, straight to the point. Join me tomorrow morning, because I go on a bit of a rant. Anywho, subscribe, like, comment. Come on, your hands. Thanks for watching, of course.